So here's some external market drivers. And what are they? And the consumer, as you can see, is in the middle. So this is the information push. Who's pushing? Here's the policies and regulations. Who's blocking? Here's a variety of foods. Who's losing? Who's educating the consumer? Do I want to be healthy? Yeah, consumers want to be healthy. I'm a consumer. Who's telling them? When they pick up a label, how do they know what the heck it is? And what's the societal driver? I want it my way. What is the societal driver? Lifestyle? So challenges are just opportunities hidden by surface water. Here's EFSA, deliberately blind to good probiotic science. And I like this because this was an advert or whatever on the same page. The European Court of Justice. Doesn't seem to me like there's any justice. Probiotic, the word was banned by EU. I really like that. Imagine banning a word. So I've decided we're going to ban the word warfarin because it kills people and implies support of war. And I have a second option. Ban the word Belgium. It's not a country, it's a refugee camp for bureaucrats. Hey doc, I need a prescription for yogurt. That's how great yogurt is. So this is what the Americans decided. The FDA said that if you want to do a study, you have to get an IND, an investigational new drug. So if a physician wants to test a yogurt on a disease, they have to call it a drug. So you can imagine that, Mommy, can I have yogurt for breakfast? I'll have to get a prescription from the doctor. Sorry, son. So the FDA doesn't like probiotics. They were only trained to approve chemicals that make you sick or kill you. Alright, so let's look at them. Origin of adverse drug events in the US hospitals, 2011. This is published. So here is adverse drug events, and you can see up here antibiotics and anti-infectives, ADE causes, hormones, analgesics, systemic agents. So these are the drugs that are approved to kill you. Like this. That's how they make you feel. And it rose between 2004 and 2008, 52% increase in the number of adverse drug reactions reported in US hospitals. And yet we have no problem approving stuff like this. Adverse drug events, this is 14% of Medicare patients. 14% experience an adverse event originating during their hospital stay, and so they say, come to hospital and get sick. What's wrong with this picture? I'm not saying that EU and FDA don't know what they're doing, but I heard they were organising a heavy metal concert, and they've picked their headline act, Justin Bieber. In other words, they don't know what a heavy metal concert should be like. By the way, Justin Bieber lives down the road from me in Stratford, Ontario. He's not American. We're very proud of him. But he ain't heavy metal. So, no, Weasel, my law says you can't be called Bart. And Bart in industry responds. You say, oh, I don't like that. That's not a very active response. Well, if they can call pizza naked, which they can, someone says you can't be one name, then at least you can get to choose the alternative. So if they won't let you call it probiotic, why not call it something else? So I've made up some labels that the marketing people here could probably use. First one is freedom of speech. So don't call it probiotic, call it freedom of speech. The new anti-bureaucrat yogurt, contents older than your grandmother. And then crap on the nasty panel. In Canada there's a product called Holy Crap. There is. And people buy it. So you don't need to call it probiotic, call it something different. And I'll tell you, people will buy it if they believe it works. So everyone wants their own definition of probiotics. This really drives me nuts. I review for a lot of journals, and everyone wants their own. So pharmacobiotics, biotherapeutics, dead probiotics, probiotic molecules, recombinant probiotics. What's wrong? Are these people peeved that they weren't on the WHO panel? They weren't. So it's not the probiotic definition that's the problem. Stop trying to change it. So that's number one. This is the definition. Live microorganisms which in administered adequate amounts confer a health benefit on the host. It's broad enough to cover a range of probiotics, including recombinant strains, complex 1533 strains like Reid, which you've probably heard about, fecal transplant, Reid, well-defined 33 strains. So what do we share that's critical for human life? What do each of us share in this room? What do you share? Air, water, food, and bacteria. We came from bacteria, like it or not. We each carry 3 to 5 pounds, 1 to 2 kilograms of bacteria. Just one person in the room adds 37 million bacteria to the air every hour from skin air, oral cavity, and nostrils. You're breathing in the air that was in the room from the people that were here yesterday. So hopefully they were nice people, right? So you're walking around, you're kicking up the bacteria. Why are we so scared of them? I hope you like the person beside you. And this was published in 2012, where microbes get used to regulators. It takes a village to raise a child. And so there's a place in this for every single person in this room, and even the regulators who probably aren't in this room. So we're all in it together. No point in being all completely negative. And it comes from discovery, translation to products, proof of concept, aftermarket improvement. This is a continual, it's not really even a straight line, it's a circle. Because after you get to market, you go back to the lab, you go back to research, you try and improve it. That's the model that we work on. So what can business do? What would I like to see you do? Well, scale up your R&D outside the EU and US. This may include new social business models in Africa, Bangladesh. Produce adverts stating that soon your favorite product will no longer be available in the EU and US, and how this will impact jobs, the economy, and health. You probably think I'm crazy. Consumers love probiotics. You've seen the numbers, you'll get the numbers during this conference. Imagine if they couldn't get it. You've got no one on your side. You take away something that people want, you might finally get them to pay attention. Because they ain't paying attention. Get personal. Get personal. Identify the people blocking progress. Point out the lack of qualifications demonstrated at homes and offices. You think I'm nuts? What do you think happened with AIDS? This is what they did. This is how they protested. May 2004, Americans are dying on waiting lists for AIDS drugs. Nothing would have happened if these people hadn't gone to the streets. We have done nothing. We don't even demonstrate. We don't even go to the Houses of Parliament. The only time in Canada we did it is because the Conservative government tried to shut down the environmental scientists who are showing the contamination from the oil sands is killing people. When was the last demonstration you had in Europe or in Washington? This is scandalous what they're doing. Get personal. Identify the children dying from diarrhea, malnutrition, and necrotizing enterocolitis. Get the public to demand reform. Shane, when he interviewed me before this meeting, he says, well, you can't compare it with AIDS because people were dying from AIDS. Have you looked at the statistics on mortality in children that could be prevented by probiotics? It is life and death. This is what it looks like. Necrotizing enterocolitis, premature baby, kwashiorkor in Africa. It is about life and death. Here's the statistics of meta-analysis for necrotizing enterocolitis. And these are different probiotics. And you won't find a drug that is that effective. And it isn't part of mainstream healthcare in Canada or the US. That's scandalous. That shouldn't be allowed. Get political. It's time to reform the regulatory approval process. Explain this to the public. Members of Parliament need your votes. That's the only thing they care about. In some countries they will all listen to you. Get political. Let science advertise products. Why not? Through social and other media, explaining the results of peer-reviewed studies. If they won't let you put it on the label, tell it a different way. You don't believe that if people hear that something works, they won't take it? You better believe they'll take it. When Activia came to Canada, 2004, there was basically nothing on probiotics. Suddenly it came, within 1 year, 75% of people in Quebec had tried it. Why? Because of advertising? No. Because they knew something was exciting that was coming on the market. And this might sound crazy, the Oprah effect. This is the Oprah effect. So this person, Carol's daughter, her sales skyrocketed after Oprah Winfrey featured her startup business. And Lactobacillus Gigi was mentioned, and it estimated that it had a massive, massive financial outcome for companies. Now, I'm not suggesting we use Oprah to sell probiotics, but I'm saying there's different ways to get around the fact that they won't allow you to have a claim. Shame and forced out of the market, or drop the reference to probiotics, or make them do research. Products making blatantly false or unproven claims. I'm sorry, but aftershave, moppy floor cleaners, and untested strains of products with added ingredients that affect the strains, stop doing it. Don't call them a probiotic, unless you've proved that they are a probiotic by the definition. So you can clean up your own act as well. It's not about time we tried in Africa. Africa? Why do you want to go to Africa? There's no money to be made in Africa. This is life expectancy. Do we really care about life expectancy? And a lot of this is malnutrition. It's actually disease, malnutrition, maternal and infant mortality. It's the one thing that probiotics can contribute to. We're not even there. And if we are there, it's minor products for people that can afford it. This is a product called moringa. It's a weed. It grows like a weed. And it's packed with micronutrients. Packed with them. So we put some moringa in a probiotic yogurt, and we gave it to pregnant women. And this provided 20% of the recommended daily allowance of vitamin A, for example, using natural resources in Africa. And this is what malnutrition looks like. And basically, we're not there as a business. Why are we not there? What's your excuse? This is where moringa is. We need to look at the world in a different way. We produced some community kitchens and started in Tanzania. We feed 3,000 people a day, 1,000 people in Kenya. We employ farmers, and Yoga for Life, which is a Dutch initiative in Uganda, gets about 1,000 people a day. That's probiotic yogurt made on site. And we're not making money from this, but it's making a difference. And you better believe if you get into Africa as a company and act responsibly and socially, there's money to be made. I mean, it's ironic that Coca-Cola is cheaper than water. So Coke must be making money in Africa, but sadly it's not the kind of industry that I want to get to Africa. What's our excuse?